Okay, good evening, everyone. We're here for the regular council meeting, February 18th. I will just jump right into it with quick introductions. We have with us in person, Councillor Joel Lemoine, Councillor Shane Pelletier,
Evening.
Councillor Jeanine Belanger,
Evening, everyone.
Councillor Jason Bondarchuk,
Evening.
myself online, Chris Ewan, and in person for administration, we have our CEO, Shane Ray.
Oh,
Somewhere in the back there in the corner is our assistant CEO, Dominic Lemoine. And online, video's off, microphone's muted, but Tanis from our planning department. We will jump right into it with item number 1. Meeting called to order. Do I have a mover? Sorry, Councillor Lemoine, thank you. Second, Councillor Pelletier. Questions, comments before we open the meeting? I will advise everyone how the public hearing and delegations will go tonight once we get there. Right now, I'm good with everything. Council? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. Open the meeting at 6:01 p.m. 2, adoption of the agenda. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier. Council's good with the agenda as is. No edits, no changes, no comments.
good to go.
Nope. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you. Item number 3, adoption of the minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine. Thank you. We have the meeting minutes from regular council meeting February 3rd, 2026. Comments, questions, additions, edits from council? Good as is. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. Item 4, committee reports and minutes. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger. Thank you. We have the RSS December 1st, 2025 minutes. Council, any comments, questions? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 5.1 accounts paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So batch summary was uploaded, as was the batch number and all the information as well. If there's any additional questions, please let me know.
Thank you. Council, comments, questions on these?
None here.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 5.2, accounts not paid to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bondarchuk.
So again, Mohammed had done the batch summary of the various items within there. Additional, Councillor Pelletier posed 3 questions prior to the meeting. He was just wondering about the access elevator invoices. There's 2 invoices, St. Adolph Arena. One is just for the regular service and one was for a service call. And then we had Tree Pro head out to do some tree removal as part of the Dutch Elm program. And just they were in a situation where our staff weren't comfortable doing it. So we had to contract it out. So
Thank you. Council.
those 3 items.
Thanks. Council, comments, questions on anything else? None. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. 5.3, council indemnities. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
Fairly straightforward. Nothing really to highlight from the council indemnity.
Thank you. Call for the council, any comments or questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. 5.4, payroll to be approved. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you.
So the employee payroll is up there. Again, nothing really to note. Fairly straightforward. The usual couple of weeks.
Thank you. Comments, questions from council? Nothing. Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. We'll move on to the public hearings. We only have one public hearing tonight. So the quick process of tonight will be I will call out the item number and the CEO will have a quick word on that. I will open up the public hearing at X time. That time, the applicant or someone wishing to make a presentation on behalf of the applicant has the chance for a 10-minute presentation towards council to discuss their item. And then I will finish that off. I will ask then anyone in favor online if they'd like to speak. And that time you unmute your mic unmute your microphone, turn on your video, and then you'd be given some time to speak in favor. And then anyone in person wishing to speak, you would go up to the middle table there, and you'd have a seat, and then you just give your name and your address, and then you can go have your say there. And then we would go into anyone wishing to speak against online. And the same process, you turn on your microphone, unmute yourself, turn on your video, and then you'd be given your chance. And then anyone in person wishing to speak against, and you'd same process again. You go up to the chairs in the middle, and then you'd get your time to talk. And after that, I'll do one last call. Anyone wishing to make any general comments, speak in favor or against, online, on the phone, or in person, that's your last chance to talk. After that's done, I'll close the public hearing, and that is time for council's discussion and debate. They are not to engage with the gallery, and the gallery is not to engage with them. So please ask the questions that you need asked, or make the comments that you need made during the time of the public hearing being open. Without further ado, we will go to 6.1.1 C1 2026 Scott Dixon and Kelly Bourgeois, 2287 Lavallée Road, Grand Point.
So the home located in Grand Point, they've made application to allow home industry that would hold or to create a venue and would hold weddings and other special events in an agricultural limited zone. This is a home industry in a conditional use in the AL zone. And so they brought forward the conditional use application.
Thank you. We'll open the public hearing at 6:07 p.m. Is the applicant wishing to make a presentation? I believe I see them online. Can unmute your microphone, guys.
They're frozen.
They might be frozen. Oh, she's trying to get in another way. Hi, Kelly. Can you hear us? Your microphone is muted. You do not have to have your video on if you're having trouble connecting.
Hi, I'm here. I'm
Hi.
sorry.
That's okay. Don't be sorry. I just introduced the conditional use public hearing to be open, and now is a chance if you guys wanted to make a presentation to council because you're the applicant.
Sure. Yeah. Good evening. Thanks so much for letting us talk tonight. My name's Kelly Bourgeois and my husband, Scott Dixon. We're looking to purchase Misty River Ranch, 120-acre property currently operating a breeding boarding facility. Crunching numbers, we believe to maintain the viability of this land agriculturally, we were looking into adding another business to it. The focus is the horse boarding facility, but with the price, obviously, we're looking to just extend a limited use wedding venue capped at 150 people. We also have Hayden Lebowski there. If you have any questions about how it will affect the horses, we've hammered this out. We've talked to vets, we've talked to neighbors, we've talked to everyone we could possibly think of talking to. We are rural livers, people who live in the rural community ourselves of Springfield. We value the quietness, the tranquility, and we're just looking to add and fit into the community instead of them fitting around us. Adjacent to us is a golf course who also offers wedding venues, a wedding facility and golf. So yeah, that's pretty much what we're hoping to do, if it pleases the council.
Thank you so much. Council, I'll open up this time. Do you have any questions for the applicants, comments?
I just have a comment about the amount of information you provided, and from the current owners, it's very clear that you really want to fit in the community. You don't want to go against everybody. So yeah, just thank you for providing as much information as you could for this.
Oh, you're absolutely welcome.
Okay, anything else from council?
Not at this time.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, guys. I appreciate the presentation. I'm going to now ask if there's anyone online or on the phone wishing to speak in favor. Anyone in person wishing to speak in favor?
Yes.
Yep, Chris, we have a couple.
Yeah, I'll get Deputy Mayor to call them up.
John Byron.
If I can get you to, oh. Sorry, forgot to leave one there. Provide your name and address. I'm John Byron. I'm the current owner of Misty River Ranch. And I would just like to go through the letter I sent in support so that others can hear who might not have otherwise had it. I'm going to be 70 this year. My knees ache and my body aches. I used to be a soldier and I'd quite like to slow down. And in order to release, like so many farmers, our wealth is in the property. And we need to sell in order to be able to retire in any degree of comfort. The current use of Misty River Ranch is a fairly well-known equestrian facility that breeds, trains, boards horses, and we offer lessons to aspiring riders. We use the buildings, we make hay, we have an indoor arena, and we have a constant throughput of traffic all day, virtually every day. We have 34 boarders at the moment. We have horses that we own ourselves that we run school lessons on, and it's not uncommon to have somewhere between 50 and 60 people a day just come to manage their horses. The applicants that you heard from are the prospective purchasers. I have to say I'm lucky enough that I have a small military pension. We were able to do this without having another business because we didn't need a mortgage. But it's becoming true everywhere that the next generation can't afford to get into the equestrian industry because they can't afford to buy the facilities. So getting somebody of reasonable age who is interested is quite a rarity. We don't particularly want to lose it. Southside Golf Course was mentioned. Our immediate, they are in the entertainment business really already, as are we. Horses, although they are agricultural, when the government wants to control them, when they want to tax them, they are deemed to be entertainment. So we're caught in a bit of a cleft stick there. The conditional use for the wedding event is for approximately 2 acres right in the middle of the property, where it's surrounded by a little bit of woodland and some tree lines. In fact, the beautiful field is what we call the field that they intend to put it in. And it is actually a venue that has been used by clients of ours who have wanted to get married, taking their photographs there. We've had friends who have got married on the ranch. So it lends itself very well in a very traditional way to a family style wedding. Prior to this, it has effectively been the farm dump. When we bought the place 20 years ago, we had to clear out the old farm scrap. We had to spread a muck heap that had been accumulating for somewhere nearly 45 years. So the land as such this will be an enhancement. At the moment, the field is used as one of our sacrifice fields, and it doesn't actually grow much in the way of grass. It's accommodation. We have a tired tatty barn next door to it, and I have no doubt that if the purchase goes ahead, the new owners will probably take that down to enhance their venue. Because we're an equestrian venue, it is not in our interest or their prospective owners' interest to allow inappropriate over-the-top celebrations. Horses are sensitive animals. The existing clients are even more sensitive, and they don't want to lose those. So they will put in their own strict rules,
but I have no doubt they're more than happy to accommodate some that might be given to them by you. The welfare of the horses is always first and last in everybody's minds. And the ranch will still stay a family home. Although they live very locally, they are probably going to accommodate their parents in the ranch house. Older, but again, they don't want the noise and the inconvenience that has possibly been attached to other events venues. I hope this will assuage the anxiety of those that might not want it. Other potential purchasers that we've had through have indicated that they will be a lot more industrial in their farming requirements. And we're not, if it came to it, we would sell, but we are keen to keep the equestrian facility going because Manitoba has a really good equestrian reputation. And when we take our clients to compete in Calgary, they beat the ass off the Albertans, and it's rather nice. And it's a sport. Yeah. When we first arrived here in 2006, I saw a report that was done for the Manitoba Horse Council in 2004 about the value of equestrianism. And just recently, we all know about the Orange Man and everything. And everybody always talks about the aircraft industry in Manitoba and says, isn't it great? And there could be more jobs and things like that. Well, the report I saw in 2004 actually indicates that equestrianism is worth more to the Manitoban economy than the aircraft industry. But the politicians don't know because it's a dispersed rather than a concentrated industry. And so, but Manitoba is well known as the wholesale province, and it's jolly difficult to charge a realistic rate. What we provide for as a service here, we are charging 2/3 of what they do in Alberta, and nothing else is different. Our costs are identical. So I can quite understand where Kelly and Scott are coming from. For what we're asking for the place, it wouldn't be, I'm not surprised banks want more. If I were an idle man and I didn't want to work, I would just put the money in a bank and I would earn the same as I do working every day of the week. And that is a problem, not just for the equestrian industry, but for quite a lot of agricultural industries. So you need the external income of something like a wedding venue. I admit that I have opposed other people's ideas nearby, but that was to the south of the Laverty Road, where the Seine River overland flooding is somewhat more serious. Everywhere in Manitoba is damp during the snowmelt. But Misty River Ranch, by and large, even in the 97 floods, which we weren't here for, but predecessor says they didn't flood down the central spine. And in fact, I have been told that the entrance to Misty River Ranch, the driveway off the road, is one of the highest points in the RM. So from the flooding point of view, the venue there will require less in the way of engineering work than virtually anywhere else they would care to put it. I won't go on anymore. Thank you very much for listening to me, and I hope you will look at it with some degree of favor. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Byron.
Thank you very much. Deputy Mayor, I'll let you take it away for the in-house stuff, and I'll just jump back on when it's back to normal.
Bertolak, you wanted to join us? Thank you. I know how much you love to speak in public.
Can I ask a question of Mr. Biden?
So, sorry.
Just about the traffic, you mentioned about 50 cars or 50 people come on a regular day-to-day basis. I, being the councillor of the area, I have not received calls of complaints about that. Have your neighbors ever approached you and said,
No,
this is
no,
out of
they-
control?
It's a very low level constant trickle. And until, I can't remember when the bridge came down, there used to be a bridge over the river there. And it was a rat run at 100 kilometers an hour on gravel. So what we have is still so much less than a car a minute,
Okay.
which is what it used to be.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Eileen Swerdlock. I'm a landowner that surrounds probably 2/3 or half of the Misty River Ranch. I hadn't really planned on speaking tonight, but here I am, no notes, so this is just kind of free will. My husband's family has farmed in that particular area where Misty River is before Misty River even existed, since 1964. I have been before the council in regards to other applications that have been made for the same thing. Vehemently opposed to that because of the spillway from the Seine River. It backed on, they all backed onto the Seine River and provided great damage to the waterways and natural plains up there. Misty River does not. They did not flood in 97. They haven't flooded as far as I know. So that is a situation that has taken off the table in my view. What is concerning when I first read the application was traffic concerns, one way in, one way out concerns, and things of that nature. I took the time to talk to Sarah, and I took the time to talk to Scott to see where their plans lied. It gave me great ease that their parents would be on the property, which was a big concern of mine. If there's nobody on a farming property, then it becomes kind of not as relevant to the agricultural world. If you know what I mean, I'm not sure how to say that. They have on-hand staff that will be with the horses in talking to Scott at some depth with horses and whatnot. Their concern for the horses lie utmost. And as Mr. Byron said, that horses are very vulnerable animals to noise, people, traffic, etc. Traffic was a big concern, still is to the neighbors, still is to me, because we farm there. And as I said in my letter, combines don't like going in and out of traffic on park roads, and neither do school buses. But the venue itself is in the middle of the property, away at the back, and there's a parking lot to be installed. So all that traffic, whatever cap that they have on 150, will not be on the road for very long. Now, having said that, Ballot Road and Lavallee Road needs some municipal help because those roads get soft and they get lucky and if you're going to have traffic down there. But what's the alternative? The alternative to selling a property that's industrial, that means heavy duty semis going up and down the road several times a day, if I'm understanding the correct proposition. It entails a whole lot of things. I don't think that my area, is really wanting to look at. I think that's all my jabbering.
Great.
Any questions, or not that I can answer, but I'll try.
I just want to make a comment.
Sure.
Thank you for taking the time to meet with the owner and the property owner to ask your questions and get the answers instead of just assuming something. It's great to actually see people take the time and do that.
I actually know I know a lot of the neighbors as far as that. I understand their concerns completely. I live there. Well, before I forget, I don't live there anymore. I have moved in order to allow my sons to take over fourth generation farming. So I have great concerns. If you want to find me on the grain cart or running parts or whatever, I still care. So I just kind of want to make that apparent. And I understand everybody else's concerns, but I'm, the signage on the roads, maybe you guys have to do your part too. So I am obviously, and I'm going, yay. So that's it. Yeah. And thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Werlick. Anyone else?
Thank you. Thanks, Deputy Mayor. Is there anyone else there?
We got another one coming up.
Thank you.
Hi. Pleasure to be here. I'm going to apologize formally ahead of time. I'm so nervous. I've never done this before. I have gone over this 100 times in my head and I'm still slightly panicking. I am not a public speaker. My name is Hayden Lebowicki. I would be the person managing the equestrian boarding side of Misty River if this sale does go through. When Kelly and Scott first approached me on this deal, I had a lot of the same concerns as everybody else did in the community. As someone who works with horses every single day, you can't have traffic, you can't have noise, you can't have a giant party scene going on. It doesn't work. But the more I talked to them and the more we sat down and went through the plans of it, it's actually a very beautiful goal. I've spoke to a few people out in Ontario who have very similar programs. And in the long run, the equestrian community is suffering. We are having barns closed left, right, and center. Children aren't getting the opportunities to ride, and they aren't being able to afford to ride. The few lesson barns that we have left open, you're looking at paying $1,600 a month. Most families can't afford that, but you can't afford to run one of these facilities without charging costs like that. This wedding venue gives us the opportunity to cut back on costs and cut back on what we're charging the community. So the kids and people, the average person who wants to have a horse, much like myself, are able to actually come in there and do so and enjoy it. It's hard. It's hard to be in it right now. You work long hours, you budget for everything. I'm trying to keep this industry alive, and I understand fully all the concerns. I come from a farming family. I know what the traffic can be like. I know that no one wants litter in their crops, and they don't want fireworks at 3 a.m. I don't want fireworks at 3 a.m. My horses will jump through fences and I will lose all my business. I just wanted to take a moment to say, I really appreciate being here, and I appreciate you guys taking times to read the support letters that were sent in, and just kind of say my piece that I'm coming from a place where I'm really trying to keep this for the next generation and build something that the community can still come to. And I will be also living on property there, and I will be managing day to day. So, I don't know if you have any questions. I don't quite know how to do this. My apologies again, but.
First of all, you did great. So
Oh, okay.
give yourself more credit. It was
Thank
very
you. I'm
good.
so
You're very
nervous
clear.
right now.
No, it's all good. But no, I don't have any questions. That's
Great. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you.
And just write my name and address.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. I'm just as nervous, just so you know. So you did a good job.
Thank you.
Okay, Deputy Mayor, is there anyone else there?
Anyone else in favor wanting to come up? That's it for in favors.
Thank you. I see that we have some letters of support online. Council's had the opportunity to read them. I will request that we do not read them out loud for the essence of time, as we do have quite a bit of other things going on. Council, you're good with that?
Yep.
Thank you. Okay, moving on. Is there anyone wishing to speak against online or on the phone?
Yes.
Yes, Mr.
Yes.
Sadoway.
Yes, hello, Mr. Mayor, councilors. I just want to point out, I was actually in St. Adolphe this evening. I didn't know you guys were going to be in the room, or I would have been there in person. We got the notice late that the thing was going to be online, and so we drove home, and then so here we are in the car at the Winnipeg sign north of Ile-des-Chênes. So we would have been in there in person, and I would have been able to hand over to council two things in my possession, which are representing neighbors' work in opposition to this proposal. First is a petition that put together by my neighbor Ken Thompson, who lives on the north end of Arnold Road at the river. Ken Johnson. who collected 24 signatures from the neighborhood, all in opposition. People living along Lavallee and along Oak Grove and along South Side, etc. I wanted to give this petition to council, but I'm not there now. Are you still able to accept it into your records if I drop it off or mail it to you as part of this submission, or shall I? Or do I have to read it into the record now?
Yeah, like we've never accepted petitions for any delegate or any hearing we've had, just because of it's just a name on the paper. We'd like to see everyone submit their own personal letter, come in person and speak against. But you're more than
Ken
welcome.
was unable to come because he works 2 jobs and was unable to come and be present for tonight's meeting.
We can turn around and drive.
I mean,
back.
we can drive back
Right now.
if make it for the end of council meeting to hand it into you. We also have
Sorry, you're welcome to hand it in after the fact, but again, it won't have any weight one way or the other.
Right. Okay. Well, I'll go ahead and I'll read my proposal then, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Sure.
Neither I nor my wife Margaret Keast are interested in a party house on the block. And I might point out to council that no one other than the barn manager perspective is going to be living on Lavallee Road should this proposal go through. And because of her interest in having a job there, I don't think her interest can be counted as entirely objective. We've attached our name to Ken's petition and as I mentioned, Bonnie's letter. We have collectively said this about our neighborhood before and respectfully suggest it's worthwhile that you might make a policy that you not entertain proposals to put party house businesses in residential neighborhoods. Party venues don't belong in residential neighborhoods. They belong next to industrial buildings where no one much cares how loud the party might get because no one lives there and they only go there from 9 to 5 anyway, or they're on the night shift and their machine is louder than the party. We accepted when we moved into this neighborhood that there are commercial ventures in the area, an equestrian boarding facility, and a golf course. The overflow parking along Bellot is a consistent concern as the golfers often fail to heed that they are on a road and not an extension of the golf course's parking lot. And I personally dread the irritation and the animal habitat interference that is posed by the advent of night golf this coming spring and summer, and the traffic dangers that poses. Now, people who come to visit the ranch generally care about the environment and the neighborhood their horses live in because horse people tend to get out of themselves at least as far as their horse. A wedding venue, even more extremely and at less pleasant hours than a golf course, draws people to the area who have absolutely no abiding interest in the area. They are coming for the event and the bride and groom and nothing more. They may enjoy the surroundings in which their event is held, but they are tourists. My wife and I live on the western dead end of Lavallee Road, or as the RM road sign prefers to call it, and drivers from away fail to comprehend, not a through road. The latter drivers proceed at an expectant 80, blurring into 85 kilometers per hour toward Highway 59, only to return a few moments later traveling at a frustrated 95 over having wasted precious minutes getting back inside the floodway. Either that or our dead end gets used by one of the many ardent and amorous humans who have left behind their candy wrappers and condom wrappers and condoms and beer cans and urine bottles over the years at the end of Lavallee since we have made our home. I have no desire to change the neighborhood character to invite more such people here and give them alcohol and a place to have a party. And this is not just NIMBY. These facilities should not be near anyone's yard. Party houses do not belong in residential neighborhoods. Now, you mentioned that the golf course already hosts such events. Well, if we have a wedding venue in the neighborhood, we don't need another one. The golf course is already proof that there is annoyance from a lot of traffic at one time. They park all the way along Bellot and are frequently an annoyance for the people who live south of there. Now, we have met the proponents, Scott and Kelly, and found them to be very nice people. Had they come around earlier, we might have saved them a lot of trouble here, but they said that they had been advised not to approach neighbors in advance. I'm not sure who gave them that advice, but I don't think it's good advice. Approaching neighbors respectfully first and asking whether an idea will fly is always better than blindsiding through a council notice. I say this based on years of observational experience covering municipal affairs as a reporter. Our objections to this conditional use have nothing to do with the proponents or with the very lovely barn manager who spoke earlier, but rather with their potential guests. And they don't control the guest lists of all the weddings. They also have no control over what follows once the precedent has been set to allow this alternative use. Neither would you. Now, there's been mention made of other industrial uses of the property. If they are agricultural, I don't see how any proposal would be necessary to come before this council. I've heard mention of a chicken farm. It's an agricultural residential area. And as long as the chicken farmer is living on the property, I honestly can't see an objection other than the smell. And there's already smell coming from the pig barn directly south of me. So I can't really fairly object to that since the rules already allow that kind of operation. If it's to be a storage facility of some sort, well, storing stuff is really not a whole lot different than storing horses, and probably not a whole lot more disruptive to the neighborhood. And if there's any hazardous waste or dangerous materials to be stored, I trust council will alert us and we will entertain and discuss that proposal when it's made. However, council has no responsibility to save a dying equestrian industry. Ever since the automobile was invented, horses have been essentially pets for the very wealthy and for the people who seek to make their living off of the very wealthy. And if that business cannot exist, then maybe it's time for it to die. I may lament it like my neighbors, but I don't try to deny it at the cost of the value of my neighbors' property values. Sorry. We are all caretakers of what follows after us, and allowing a change like this to the pre-agreed upon business types in the neighborhood will become the thin edge of a wedge. You and future councillors will have an impossible time holding to any kind of firm precedent if you do not make a stand on the zones you have established and what may or may not go on in those zones. We all bought our properties based on a deeply held trust in these rules. Now, you recently changed one that will allow families more freedom to develop their properties. I hope that change will largely benefit families and homeowners, even though I suspect there will likely be one or two catastrophic exceptions and deep and long-lasting anger and resentment on someone's part because of that change you just made. But proposing to change zoning rules for the sake of business interests at the expense of families and homeowners is the stuff that has historically launched revolutions. It is why precedent is so important to local councils and to local councillors, and why it ought to take you very little time at all, as you did the last time someone proposed building a party house on our block, to refuse this application for conditional use. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Mr. Sadoway. I appreciate that. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak? Sorry, does council have any questions? I apologize. Council have any comments or questions for Mr. Sadoway?
Can I not speak for Bonnie and Mike?
Down here.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Sadoway. I appreciate that. I'll get you to just put your microphone on mute. Is there anyone else online wishing to speak against? Anyone in person? Mr. Deputy Mayor?
Anyone? Nope.
I see we have 2 letters of objections, as same with the support letters. We won't read them out loud. Council's had the time to review them. We will go for a last call. Oh, sorry. This is last call. Anyone wishing to speak in favor, against, make any general comments online, on the phone, or in person that hasn't made any comments or to speak in favor against already? Last call.
Hang on, Mr. Mayor.
Yeah.
Hi there. My name is Aaron Nodal, 2145 Southside Road. Just wanted to make a little bit of a comment. I know Kelly mentioned in her presentation at the beginning that neighbors were consulted. We live on the road, the only kind of year-round road that would be access to that property. And we never received any kind of communication, or I've never met them. So just a little bit, I don't know, I'm just a little bit disappointed to not have that communication beforehand. Based on what they say, the way they want to run it, that sounds, reasonable to me, but it's hard for me as someone who's just hearing that in the presentation to have full faith that 10 years down the road, things are still going to be, that's the way they're going to be, and they're not going to change. So yeah, just a comment that I think communication to the people that would be impacted would have been valuable to do beforehand. We kind of only just heard about it through, other neighbors that had heard about it. So yeah, just a comment that I don't know that the transparency there, I think, is maybe lacking, and that kind of makes it hard to put more stock in what they're saying in terms of how it's going to be run in the future. So yeah.
Or what's your address again?
2145 South Side Road.
Yeah, he's not on the mailing list. Maybe you can talk about that.
In terms of the mailing list.
Yeah, the radius, but
So the planning act defines how far the notice goes out. So you must just fall outside that radius.
Yeah.
I would have to ask Tanis if she sent it out to 100 or 300 meters.
Yeah, we're probably outside of that, but yeah, as someone who would be, directly along that route.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
I can see you're just outside that radius.
Right. Yeah. But even just to have heard from the applicants beforehand, I think would have made a big difference. So yeah, not just here kind of last minute.
To be the same as when yours went out, Mr. River wouldn't have said
Right.
it. Yeah. Right. It just, we plop the land in and it does 100-meter radius.
Oh, yeah, totally understand that. Yeah.
I have a question.
Yep.
Because now that you've heard everything, do you have a for and against?
Or neutral.
Or anything?
Yeah, I'd say it's very hard for me to say. It's based on what John and Sarah have said and what the applicants have said. I mean, I think it sounds like they have the best of intentions, and I hope that they do. But it's one of those things that it's hard to make a judgment call just based on what you've heard in this room, and maybe that's the case for the immediate future, but things can change. And once that door has been opened, it's a lot harder to shut it, I think. So I think I'm a little bit hesitant, I think, in terms of, that things will be carried through the way that they say they have been, at least, just with the limited information that I've had. So.
If I can add, conditional use applicants, you'll see in the reading, they're applying for something somewhat specific. So if in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, they decide to put run another, whatever.
Indoor soccer complex.
There you go. And it has to go through the same process, and also, we're trying to make decisions based on avoiding future change. We've had all sorts of different things like, no, this is again, it'll read, some of the conditional use application, whatever, will have certain conditions or whatever, and some of those come. Yeah.
Thanks.
Perfect. Thank you. Okay, final call, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Was there anyone else there?
Good here.
Thank you. I'll close the. Yeah, go ahead.
Margaret Keast here on the line.
Hi, Margaret. Go ahead.
Hi. I don't want to reiterate everything that my husband, John Sadoway, said, but I do have a concern that Ken put the effort into talking to neighbors and a petition together that meets the criteria of a petition. Why that cannot be submitted for consideration. We've got signatures on here from 24 people from around this neighborhood. The petition looks like it's meets all the criteria. So I have a concern about that, but I just want to reiterate that I'm not in favor of a party house on our road just because it's moved down barely a quarter of a mile. It changes the character of the neighborhood, and I would like to be able to submit Ken's petition and the letter from our neighbors that Mike and Bonnie also wrote to be considered.
Yeah, you're welcome to submit it, but in my 3 terms as mayor, I've never once accepted a petition for consideration just because of the outside factors. You could go to somebody's house, they could sign it just to get you off their property. You really don't know, so it's just not a fair assessment. I've never done it, I never will.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's a new rule for this RM then. But anyway, that's all I wanted to say is that,
Thank you.
I have concerns, and thank you for allowing me to speak. And again, we apologize. We didn't see any lights on. We sat outside for 20 minutes, or we would have been there in person to hand things over.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thanks.
Okay, final call. Online, on the phone, in person.
Mayor Chris, I was just curious if it would please the council for us to respond to any of the comments, or is that not necessary?
Yeah, you're more than welcome to if you want to, for sure.
First off, I want to apologize to Eric. I'm sorry. We just followed basically where we actually went beyond there and beyond. I would love to take you out for a beer as an apology, not a sway of a vote, but I'm terribly sorry. Another thing about our parents our parents were farmers on all four sides. They were born on the land. They would like to die on the land. That is the reason we're giving up that space, and we believe it's more important to have Hayden there than us. So we will wait our turn very patiently, and we live literally 5 minutes away. Not even, yeah. Another thing, for the comment, horses are expensive pets. In a world of COVID kids and mental health issues and suicides and school shootings, horses are not just pets, they're actually necessary. They're healing, they help children with all types of issues and learning disabilities. And that's what we plan on doing. I wish Hayden and I had 3 hours to explain what we want to build, and keeping the cost low is the most important for us. And then, excuse me, and then lastly, sorry, and then lastly, the golf venue, they are zoned AL, we are zoned AL. And if they're having wedding venues and golfing and night golfing, I guess I don't know if they have conditional approval. Unfortunately, I haven't done the research in that case. But if they're able to coexist with the community at 300 cars a day, I strongly believe in us that we can make it happen. And we have already proposed to the neighbors we have spoken to signs, possible venue barriers for event days. We've spoken, I will even have a neighborhood cleanup once a week. I am 100% wanting this to work. I would have loved to have land passed down to me. Unfortunately, I came from a family of 13. Scott came from a family of 14 aunts and uncles, so we were cut right out. But anyway, sorry. I just wanted to respond to those a little bit.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Okay, I'm going to close the public hearing at 6:48 p.m. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bondarchuk, second. Councillor Belanger, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
Sorry, give me 1 sec. All right. So the owners have applied, or Scott and Dixon and Kelly Bourgeois, on behalf of the owner, Sarah and John Baron, applied to 287 Lavallee Road to allow for home industry that would hold a venue, or that would be a venue for weddings and other special events. Home industry is a conditional use in the agricultural limited zone. Some of the conditions, many of them are the standard conditions that we do. I'll pull out some of the key ones. Applicants must enter into a development agreement. Parking shall comply with municipal zoning bylaw. In addition, there'll be a requirement for the building code, and with that will come things such as the parking and additional items. Appropriate flood elevation. We've indicated that the existing dwelling does not allow for short-term dwelling rentals and must be occupied by the owner or family member to alleviate any concerns about Airbnb or VRBOs. We've indicated in here, as indicated by the applicants, the primary use of the property shall continue to be that of an existing equestrian facility, with the venue being secondary. And then obviously, should this use change, it would have to comply with anything within the zoning bylaw. Applicants shall not cause the generation of undue traffic or congestion in the neighborhood as well. And they are obviously subject to our litter bylaw and any other number of bylaws as well. So.
Thank you. I'll open up for council debate discussion. Anyone want to start?
Yeah, I just want to reiterate what Mr. Ray said about the primary facility is the equestrian, which it is currently. And to maintain that, you know, the wedding venue will be secondary. So I just want to keep that in mind, that it's the main facility is still equestrian.
Anything else from council?
Friendly amendment, item 2, parking shall comply with municipal zoning. I just changed to all parking shall remain on site and not on the road.
Yep.
Can move
I'm
that.
good. I'm good with the friendly amendment. Rest of council.
Could I ask you, rather than changing it, doing an addition, so it should comply with the meaning plus parking on site rather than the road?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, they have to anyways, but.
Does our
Anything else?
bylaw say that you can't park on the road?
Well, there's so many, when they build the venue, there'll be so many spots that'll be allocated. They'll have to be like accessible spots provided and things like that. So,
Right.
but we can do the parking on site.
This is AL on how many acres?
120.
The whole property is 120 acres. The bit that they're planning to develop is 2.
This isn't residential. I mean, this is like base or whatever, so there's plenty of room to do a lot of stuff, so I don't see this being, this isn't a residential development.
Anything else from council?
It most certainly is residential.
Yeah, nothing else from council. I've seen this. I've been traveling literally all of Canada. This is what I do for a living, going to event centers. I see this pretty frequently from all the way from Surrey, BC, all the way to St. John's, Newfoundland last year. So this is pretty common. I think this would be a great fit. That's my personal opinion.
Plus the wedding venue in our ward, still operating as another business, and there's neighbors nearby.
I've also brought this forward to the GPHA, who runs a wedding not a facility, but in their clubhouse, and they have zero concerns. They say it's. So.
Okay, anything else? Perfect. I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That is carried. Thank you very much. I'll give 1 minute for people to leave the room if they're not wanting to stay for the next round. Council needs a stretch break.
Good luck. Thank you. Thank you.
With your notes, I noticed the same thing, so.
You guys just want to let me know when it's good to go again?
Yeah, everybody left, Chris, so.
Okay, moving on to 7.1. We have a delegation. So the way the delegation is going to work before I bring up the delegate, is we're going to have a 10-minute limit for the delegation, and that's the time for the delegate to present. Council can ask questions for clarification. The delegation cannot ask questions of council. This is literally just a time for presentation unless council needs clarification on certain items that the delegate has brought up. And then we will move on from the delegation. And I believe there's an attachment from the delegation that goes into a decision to make. We'll discuss that at that time. But right now we're going to go to the delegation. 7.1 appeal hearing JMT Holdings for 850 Path 75. Mr. Deputy Mayor, I'll get you to chair this.
Want another sheet?
Yeah, separate. I'll keep it separate. We can stick to that. Sorry.
I read my note, and I don't know if you know.
So we can get your name and address for sure. Represent.
Yes,
Thanks.
there's actually 3 of us here.
And I won't start the clock, obviously, you start talking, so whatever you guys need to do.
Writing as fast as I can.
Yeah. Maybe I should start the clock now.
Okay, I'll be, my name is James Mercury. I'm a lawyer with MLT Aikens in Winnipeg, and I'm here on behalf of the owner on this building permit appeal. I'm going to be very brief because there's three of us and we have very limited time. The owner, Mr. Texiera, has asked me to appear just because of some of the legal issues here. There is really three components to this. It's a bit of a legal analysis. There's factual, contextual background that I think is important for council, and then a planning analysis. And Ms. Jennifer Lim is here, who's quite qualified to speak to all of that. And really what I wanted to do is frame the issue for council and make myself available for any questions in the very limited time that we have after. And I'm certainly not here to ask any questions of council. So thank you for that, Mr. Mayor. But really the issue for you today, as I see it, and I've come into this a little bit late within the last couple of weeks and to look at it, is whether this council is permitted to require a landowner, in this case my client, to essentially restart a planning process for a land use that council has already approved under a conditional use was granted in 2017 for a truck terminal use, 9-bay truck terminal. So really the appeal here is not about policy change or intensification or a change of use. This is a continuation of use. It was acted upon certainly within the 12 months. There was a considerable investment by Mr. Texiera, and I'd ask you to view this in that context. And unfortunately, in the limited time that I have, I can't go into further detail, but I'm going to turn it over to Ms. Lim after Mr. Texiera speaks briefly, because this is an individual who has expended significant resources in this municipality, as you may well know, in reliance on council's prior decision. And I think council needs to be very mindful of that context before you actually dive a little bit deeper into the planning analysis. So with that, in the limited time that I have, thank you, Mr. Mayor, and all council members for your time. And I am available for questions at the conclusion of presentations. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to thank administration and council for the opportunity to speak this evening. My name is Tony Texiera, and I'm president of a construction group which has been operating in Manitoba since 1977. We own and operate contractors' yards, shops, commercial buildings, and offices in Winnipeg, RM of West St. Paul, RM of Springfield, and of course the RM of Reshow. Combined, our group of companies employ more than 350 people and are a significant economic driver, employer, and taxpayer in each of the communities in which we operate. In the mid-2010s, we were in search of a property in and around the south side of the city, and were fortunate enough to find a couple of adjacent properties and acquired them both within a short amount of time. Subsequently, we came before council to introduce ourselves and share our view of having a contractor's yard and establishment, as well as a truck shop terminal. In 16 and 17, we were granted conditional use orders for both. We had explained at the time that it would take several years in order to build up the land to render it useful for development. So as such, we commenced that arduous process immediately on each respective property. We obtained the engineering services of Barnett & Duncan in order to provide engineered draining plans, as well as obtaining all the necessary permits and licenses required for this work. In 2023, we finally reached the point where we could confidently proceed with the construction of the first building, and as such applied for a building permit, and were issued same. Subsequently, as you are aware, this past summer, we applied for a building permit for our second building, which is a carbon copy of the first and to be utilized for the same use. We understand that a review of the plans were commenced and then abruptly halted by planning shortly thereafter. We immediately conveyed our confusion and came to meet with administration and were informed of their position. Needless to say, we were quite surprised and disappointed. We have always been extremely cooperative and transparent every step of the way, and invested a significant amount of money on these properties in the RM to ensure that everything was done properly in accordance with regulations. This investment has created both tax revenues for the RM as well as employment in the area. We have transformed a previously unsightly property, which was a dumping ground for refuse, debris, and garbage, as well as burrow pits, into a securely fenced, nicely landscaped and hardscaped contractors establishment and truck terminal. To give council an idea of the investment required above and beyond the initial land acquisition costs, I have a few bullet points here. That cleanup of the south property, including tipping fees and removal of all the refuse, approximately 95,000. Engineering fees, geotechnical fee, engineering fees, permits and licensing, approximately 67,000. Filling in and compacting the burrow pits that were sitting after pumping the water, and were sitting the 20-foot holes that had to be compacted with suitable clay and to compaction, was approximately $85,000. Installation of three-phase power to accommodate 3 buildings for the truck terminals was approximately $140,000. Construction of multi-culvert crossing as to not disrupt any potential coolage drainage was approximately $110,000. Fencing complete with automated access gates and landscaping at the front of property, approximately $125,000. Placement and compaction of material, even taking into the consideration of the value added, would be well above 6 figures on top of all those figures already provided. Members of council, as you can see, we came to the RM of Resho to invest and to be partners. We have always acted in good faith and been completely transparent. I am hopeful that in an environment where there are economic slowdowns and uncertainty, that you don't choose to turn away the very thing that other municipalities are trying to attract, and that is investment from the private sector. Further, please understand that with this investment that's already been put forth, shall we now be limited from what we were initially permitted to do and have planned to do, this will create an unnecessary undue financial hardship for our group. We respectfully request that you take time to take this into consideration when making your decision. Thank you for your time this evening.
Thank you, Tony. I appreciate it. I will. I think there was one more presentation before I ask council if they have any questions for clarification. I think there was one more.
Yes, Jennifer Lynn.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. I do have a handout I'm wanting to put through our Chinese video. So with apologies to the mayor, I didn't send this online. I'm sure I can send you an electronic copy after the fact. I'm going to keep one here for myself if you don't mind. So basically it's stapled in 2 parts. The top is basically 5 points that I want to speak to tonight. And the second attachment is a copy of some correspondence between myself and Ms. Elise Denhayer, the provincial planner, back on October the 15th of this past year. Okay, so just to introduce myself, good evening to Mayor, Council, Administration. Thank you for allowing me to be here and speak to this delegation. My name is Jennifer Lim. I am the Director of Planning at Barnes & Duncan. I'm a registered professional planner, and I'm here on behalf of JMT Holdings, Inc. My role tonight is to outline the background that led to this appeal and to explain why, under your zoning bylaw and the planning framework, the building permit for the second structure meets the criteria for issuance from a planning standpoint. My detailed expert opinion is Appendix J in the appeal package submitted on December the 19th of 2025. So the first point on your package that I handed out is about the background. What I want to talk about is what council approved in 2017. In 2017, council approved a truck terminal on this property under conditional use order C10 2017, which contains 16 conditions. After reading through those 16 conditions, 3 points stood out as being very clear to me. There is no requirement that limits the development area. There is no condition that requires a development agreement, and there is no condition restricting the intensity, number of buildings, or the tenancy on the site. For all intents and purposes, the conditional use blankets the property. Before the first building permit was sought, administration needed assurance that the conditional use order had been acted upon. In 2021, the RM confirmed that it had. Related correspondence to that effect is found under Appendix K. Email correspondence notes this again in 2022 and during the issuance of the 2023 permit as shown in Appendixes L and G. Those appendices, just to be clear, are in the appeal package that was submitted by Mr. Texera. With the adoption of the 2019 zoning bylaw, the approved truck terminal became a legal non-conforming use. Staff identified Section 124 non-conformities as the regulatory path, and the first permit was issued accordingly in 2023. The first permit was substantially completed in the fall of 2025. Tonight, Council is asked to consider a second building that continues the same use. From correspondence, we understand that administration denied the second permit after classifying the proposal as an industrial multiplex because units may be leased to other trucking operators. Next, what I want to highlight are some key planning and regulatory points to explain why, from a planning perspective, the second building still fits within the zoning framework. The first is that tenancy does not determine land use. Section 124 sub 4 of your zoning bylaw states that the use of land or a building is not affected by change of ownership, tenancy, or occupancy. As a result, leasing arrangements do not reclassify the approved use, and this is found in your own zoning bylaw. The second point is that the use is a legal non-conforming use, and it's protected under Section 124 of your zoning bylaw. Section 124 allows continuation and reasonable extension of a legal non-conforming use, provided the non-conformity is not increased. Now,
Jennifer, sorry, you've got 1 minute.
Is there by chance that I could get an extension? My presentation runs a total of 5 at the most, and I don't want to rush through too fast. I feel that these facts are important.
Yeah, if council's okay with it, I'll give you an extra 3 minutes.
Yep.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So recall that the order does not list a specific condition that limits the number or size of buildings or the overall development area. Section 124 sub 13 allows a building on a non-conforming parcel where setbacks are met or varied. These provisions supported the first permit and no variance was required. The second building matches the form and function of the first and aligns with the same north side yard setback. In my opinion, the second building does not change the use nor increase the non-conformity, and a setback variance should not be required. The third point is that the conditional use remains valid and has been acted upon. From site preparation, the first building, substantial development has occurred and multiple permits have been issued, demonstrating the approval was acted upon. The fourth point is development has complied with provincial permits. Your Appendix N will confirm that site development, including infill and the first building, conforms with the applicable provincial licenses for surface and flood protection levels. Next, I'd like to respond to the administration's recommendations in the report to council on this matter. Administration recommends option B, being denial of the appeal and a requirement to proceed with subdivision rezoning to MA industrial agriculture, a new conditional use, and a development. Based on the known history and my planning review, this path presents 4 challenges. The first is that the use is already authorized on the file due to the conditional use order being in place. Council has already issued a building permit under the approved use following the bylaw's non-conforming framework, and the second building does not introduce a new activity on the site. The second point is that zoning regulates use, not tenancy. This is explicit in Section 124.4 of your zoning bylaw. An industrial multiplex classification, as suggested by administration, is tenancy-based, and there is no range of use beyond a trucking operation, which, in my review, is the most appropriate definition to apply towards the second building. This aligns with how the first permit was issued. The third point, typical timing for a rezoning and subdivision is 2 months to prepare the application, 4 to 6 to a conditional approval, 6 to 12 to satisfy conditions, and roughly 2 months for land titles registration. In addition, the province has confirmed that a development plan amendment would be required prior to rezoning to MA. Development plan amendments commonly take 18 months. In aggregate, that's approximately 3 years before a new permit could be resubmitted. The fourth point is there are major financial impacts from this course. As a planner operating in the private sector, I am aware that comparable files of this nature commonly incur roughly $200,000 in professional and administrative fees. This rough estimate does not include related construction costs to install required infrastructure, nor does it consider costs that would normally be associated with a development plan amendment. Finally, I want to provide my closing professional opinion. Based on your zoning bylaw, section 124, conditional use order C10 2017, and the administrative file history, it is my professional opinion that the second building is a continuation of the approved truck terminal use with no increase in nonconformity. From a planning standpoint, the application meets the criteria for permit issuance. And I will defer to legal counsel for any specific wording of council's motion, if that is the chair's desire, based on my professional opinion that I've provided. Thank you very much, and I appreciate the extension.
Thank you. Council, do you have any clarification questions for either any of the three?
I just have concern, not my word, but I do farm, and then I do have the farmers on both sides. I don't know if it's the same or whatever. They're talking about drainage issues or whatever. So that's one thing I'd like to set forward. There's, I don't know if it's the north and south side, just to have it drain a little bit better. I know we got about 8 feet of rain there last year, but I think that's a concern I have to bring forward. I gave them my word that I would, so that's something that has to be looked at. I was obviously not on council in 2017, but was the purpose of that initial building, which is a nice building, and I also like the landscaping you put in the front there. That's very nice to the eyes, but is that something that was to house your own equipment? Sorry, I'm talking to anybody here. Is that to house your own equipment in there, or are you renting out space? And is that what you're looking to do with the second facility?
A combination of both, because we have a unit, a couple of units in the first building. We may need further units in the others, but all the units are in the same type of business that we're in the exact same use, and we're not looking to have a completely different use. But even though we've had calls, because right from the onset we had to sign advertising it on the fence, and I told the administration this, and we've had calls for other types of uses, and I told them that's completely out of the question because it doesn't fit into our use of this lands.
And this secondary building, as it is today, would fit on the elevation of the earth that was moved right now?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Another two will still fit on what has been filled and still have more to spare. And this is one of the reasons. This is one of the reasons why when we first approached Hydro and our electrician, we asked them, look, we're going to put up 3 buildings here. We might as well bring in the power for the 3 rather than just bring in for 1. Have to go back and do it again and do it again. So, and that's why we invested so much.
Thank you.
Council?
Yeah, I have just a few items. I'm going to address the elephant in the room, I guess, or maybe I was on council in 2017 when this was first brought forward. And from what I remember and what the documents say, the building was actually supposed to be on the south property. So I'm just a little confused as to why the building was built on the north property. And then looking at, you bring up Hydro. Hydro has a full layout plan of where the lines are coming in and everything for the south side building property. So I'm actually surprised that Hydro, I had to move my hydro pole when I built my house and it was just 10 feet away. Like, I'm surprised that Hydro allowed you to build a building that wasn't even in the location that the building permit was given for. Sure, go ahead.
Okay, is there some confusion because there's existing buildings on the other property?
No, this was for the truck terminal. The building that you built was to be on the south property. It's from what my understanding is, that's what the building permit indicated. And that's what, when you look at your drawing from Hydro, it shows the building on the south property with all the lines coming in. So
Well, the hydro was in fact on the north, was brought in on the north side.
I know what it was done, but
Oh,
the drawing that you have shows it on the south.
Which drawing are you referring to?
It's in your package. It's one of the appendixes. Yeah, it's a big package.
Yeah, I believe Councillor Belanger, Councillor Pelletier, and myself were there. We all discussed this already.
Yeah, so it's page 52. And the building and the truck terminal is on the south property. And all the hydro lines are coming into the building on the south. So like I said, I'm surprised that Hydro even allowed or even brought you services when they're pretty strict on their engineering and where the things are going. So
Because, yeah, this.
Is, just to.
Is it possible
Is
that
this the drawing that you're speaking to? It is.
Because it's not even showing, like this drawing is not showing the existing, not showing the existing buildings that are on the south side. So I think there's a confusion here. I don't know if Hydro mixed this up or this is, yeah, this is new.
So who installs the hydro lines when they come in?
That's Manitoba Hydro.
So why would why would Manitoba Hydro then install them incorrectly, I guess, is maybe what's being suggested, but I don't think that they would. I think that's probably something that we can clarify just by double checking. Okay, it doesn't seem to make sense that this would be on the wrong property, but we can.
it was also my understanding that the building permit had the building on the south property as well. Building permit that you got.
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, well, regardless of that, speaking of the drainage also, Mr. Juan, I don't know when it was 2018 or 2019, when we all met on site about the drainage. And the initial plan from Barnes and Duncan, I believe, the surveyors had the culverts going through the property, but that was not done. We had built everything up and that's when we all met and the drainage issues with the farmers. And we basically strongly requested that you put in those culverts, even though that was the initial design that you were to adhere to. So it's like council had to intervene to get you to put those in. Same with the fencing. We had to make sure you, like, it seems that some of the conditions that we requested were not done. And also, if you can maybe answer this last point I have, I apologize, is you were to obtain approval from MIT, and I do not see that in any of your documents.
MIT for.
It was in the conditional use from 2017 that you approved, that you have obtained approvals from MIT.
Approvals for what?
Approach to traffic.
Well, we do have I believe we have that in our submission.
From MIT? Can I see that? So I couldn't find it in the documents you
I believe
provided.
I submitted that during, I could be wrong, but I'm almost certain I did submit that.
Okay, because that was one of the.
We definitely did.
Okay.
We can get copies made potentially if that pleases council of the highways permit. I have a copy here in my binder.
Yep, that would be great.
Yeah, that would be great.
So for the copies, thank you so much.
And then Councillor Belanger, you said the permit indicated south side bill. Would that be our permit? Is that what you're referring to?
It would be from Hanover.
Hanover. If you guys could get that as well, that would be great. That would help our understanding of what went wrong and on whose side.
And just to see what was in, what was permitted. I understand there's washrooms in there and I understand that those were not part of the, but this is all from, you know, what we're hearing. So if we could have those items, that would be great.
Anything
And
else
also,
from council?
sorry, one last point. The initial condition in 2017, you know, it says that it didn't stipulate number of buildings, but it was never plural. If we're going to be nitpicky about wording, it was always for a truck terminal building, not truck terminal buildings, not 3 or 4. That was never the intent in 2017 when you first came. We thought it was one building to allow trucks to pull in, rest. That was kind of the intent that we were, if I remember correctly. Do you remember that? Yeah.
Anything else for council to pose questions, clarification?
Good here.
No, that's good. I appreciate that. Okay, then we will move on. I appreciate you guys' time. Moving on to 8.1 bylaw 2 2024 closed part of public road plan 12085 in Grand Point, second reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Lemoine, thank you. Go ahead, Mr. CEO.
So be it the council gives second reading to bylaw 2-2024 being a bylaw. So again, as you said, closed part of the public road 12085 in Grand Point. This is the second reading.
Thank you, council. Open up for discussion. Anyone have any comments to make, edits, changes, questions for administration?
There's supposed to be the map attached to this, because the first time we looked at that, it's been a while. So
I was thinking of the same thing. It'd be sure nice to have maps attached to these so we can refresh our memory of what we're talking about.
I don't remember us.
Yeah, I mean,
Okay, so just maybe going forward when we're doing something like this, if we could have the maps, is that what you're asking for, Councillor Pelletier?
yeah, it might be in the original.
Okay.
In the first reading.
Well, it'd be when we first passed it. This is just a housekeeping item to change the dates, right?
Council wants to continue or wait until we find it? I see Councillor Pelletier working hard on his laptop trying to search, so go gadget.
I think we can wait. Let's try to find something.
Yep.
All right. Couldn't get it.
You got it?
No. That's good. It's just old 59.
I don't think the original had it. From what I can see. I could swear Valley Fiber. It's
That was
like
way
that.
pickier back then.
Right?
Yeah, pardon me?
It's where Valley Fiber is.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, so it's already been closed and they've constructed. We just needed to do a housekeeping change for land titles.
Yeah.
So.
Sounds good.
Okay. Okay, call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.4 bylaw 2 2026 organized, 8.3 bylaw 1 2026 procedures bylaw first reading. Do I have a mover?
1 sec. Sorry, Chris. We just did the second reading. We need to do the third reading of that one.
Oh, of course. I'm just trying to confuse administration. I'm keeping you on your toes. 8.2 8.2 bylaw 2 2024 closed part of public road plan 12085 in Grand Point, third reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bonnerchuk, second. Councillor Pelletier, thank you. Final thoughts? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none. That's carried. 8.3 bylaw 1 2026 procedures bylaw first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So we have presented the revised procedural bylaw. Council's had the opportunity to review it. So be it resolved that council gives first reading to bylaw 1-2026 being a bylaw to regulate the proceedings and conduct of council and the committees thereof.
Thank you. Council, open up for discussion, debate, anything to add?
I think they fixed what I asked them to.
I did, yes. And I uploaded.
Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. 8.4 bylaw 2026 organizational bylaw first reading. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Belanger.
Second. All that council gives first reading to bylaw 2-2026 being a bylaw to govern the organization of the municipality of Richshot and the communities thereof. Organizational bylaw, again, we've reviewed that and made the changes that we've brought forward and discussed previously as well.
Thank you. Council, any comments? No.
Still a red area in there. Has that been dealt with? 6.4?
6.4.
Under the organizational?
Yeah.
Sorry, it's like
Meetings.
Did you put your glasses on to read?
Sorry.
Blow it up.
Well, that's what I'm about to do as well.
This is just weird.
Yes, that's why we left it in there. Sorry. That have council by virtue of their elected position as a member of all committees of council.
Yeah, it reads as, okay, so that's.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
we chose to leave it in there.
Okay, anything else from council? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. Moving on to 9.1.1 release letter of credit Forthright Ventures Inc. Turon Creek, St. Adolphe. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So after a final inspection was performed with the developer and the developer's engineer and the contractor, the public works manager recommends noted deficiencies have been corrected and that we release the letter of right.
You're
muted.
Sorry, council, anything? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. 9.2.1 JMT Holdings appeal decision. Now, we just heard from the delegation. Given the fact that there's a bit more information the council wants to review, I would like to defer or table this to the next meeting, if council would please.
Good here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
Perfect. I don't need a mover or seconder for that because we will be tabling it to the next meeting. I think I have to set a date, don't I?
Not with an appeal, no.
Not with an appeal? Okay, perfect. Then I will let administration handle that side. We will move on to 9.2.2 development agreement, Craig and Carol Whitman, 1175 Anderchuk Road. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Bondarchuk.
So we're bringing forward the development agreement. The owners previously came forward to apply for conditional garden suite on their property. That was approved, subject to a number of different things along with the development agreement. So the development agreement is here for approval. It's been reviewed by admin and legal.
That's good.
Thank you. Council, any comments or discussion? Call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed, none, that's carried. 9.2.3 change order number 1 with WSP for landfill expansion project. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Belanger, thank you.
So as discussed at committee of the whole, moving from just decommissioning the wastewater treatment lagoon cells to the east of the current landfill and asking WSP to do the full design of the landfill expansion into the old wastewater cells. It is a change order to what was originally required, and so asking for council approval to move forward with that.
Thank you, council. Comments, questions?
We talk about one amount plus GST, a new amount plus GST, and we're recommending approving original amount plus GST.
No, we're recommending that we approve the change order, which is the addition of the 81 for a total amount of 102.
The original amount was 20 something.
Yes.
Basically, right? Like it was the.
It's not a holding project, it's the extension of the project. Yeah, it's a scope change.
From the original design, original concept, so.
Originally, WSP was just brought in to do the lagoon decommissioning and the sludge. And then now, obviously, with wanting to move the lagoon or the landfill into that space. So this is the expansion there. It probably all should have been done as a single project from the start. So this is budgeted for under the lagoon decommissioning and the landfill expansion. So.
Thank you. Council comments, questions? Call for the question. All those in favor? That's carried. Sorry, you glitched here, but I'm pretty sure I saw all the hands raised. Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. Moving on to 9.2.5, Alert Manitoba, Manitoba Public Alerting Program. Do I have a mover?
You skipped one there, Chris.
Oh,
9.2.4.
Sorry, it's just the Albertan to me now that I just skip a bunch of stuff because I think I'm faster and better. So 9.2.4, transferring outstanding utilities to taxes policy update. Do I have a mover? Yeah, you guys are glitching bad. Councillor Pelche, thank you. Second, Councillor Bondarchuk.
So this is just an update of the policy as we discussed previously. If there are any questions for Dominic.
Thank you. With the glitching, I'll get you guys to say yay or nay. Council, any comments or questions?
No, we discussed just obviously this is going to make administration easier.
It's cleaner and
it's
simpler.
cleaner and simpler. Is it more clear for the people that are in arrears?
I would hope so, because it's always going to be showing on your utility bill versus transferring. And then once you transfer, you don't see it until you get your tax bill in October or June.
So it'll always be on your utility bill.
Until
It'll
the end of the year.
Okay, perfect. That's what I was wondering. Okay, thanks.
Call for the question. All those in favor, yay.
Yay.
Thank you. Opposed, none. That's carried. 9.2.5, Alert Manitoba, Manitoba Public Alerting Program. Do I have a mover? Councillor Bodnerchuk, second. Councillor Lemoine.
So this was brought forward by Harold, our emergency services coordinator, asking us to join the Alert Manitoba alerting program. Just an emergency notification system, allows us to issue timely location-based alerts to residents during local emergencies. So one, this would be approving the RM signing up for the system, and then two, allowing us to designate who can put in those requests with Alert Manitoba. So,
Thank you. Council comments, questions? Call for the question. Good program, exactly. Call for the question. All those in favor, yay.
Yay.
Opposed, none. That's carried. 9. You guys sound so excited. 9.2.6 Association des Municipalités Bilingues du Manitoba OMBM contribution. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelche, second. Councillor Belanger.
So as everybody is aware, AMBM, which we remember is contributing $7,500 to the municipality of Richard to support improvement of our organizational infrastructure for the delivery of municipal services in French. So it's just continuing that, that we continue to implement the delivery of municipal services and the grant. So they ask for this each year.
Perfect. Council comments, questions, as is. Call for the question. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. Thank you. 9.2.7 Samoset expression of interest. Do I have a mover? Councillor Belanger, second. Councillor Pelche.
So as a follow-up, we did the expression of interest for the development of RMM loan RM-owned lot located on Samoset Avenue in St. Agathe. Two expressions of interest were received. Both proposals have been reviewed as per the criteria. And at this point in time, administration is recommending that we enter into negotiations with Schinkel Properties. And that should we not successful within the negotiations with Schinkel, that we be allowed to move on to proceed with negotiations with the second ranked proponent, New Vision. And that any completed development agreement would then be brought back to council for final consideration and approval as well. So.
Perfect. Council comments, questions, discussion.
I think it was a very clear process. I like how it was presented, so.
I agree. Okay,
Uh,
go ahead.
The process was good. I understand that side of it. I did survey the community, the street residents, and again, we wanted 55 plus garage, streets off the streets. We lost the potential to put up a secondary condo unit somewhere else for 55 plus. So again, based on this mathematical equation, I can see why, but I think I'm gonna go in favor of what the residents are looking for in this case.
Okay, so then anything else from council? So I'm gonna go and pose the question. Those in favor of the Schinkel proposal, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? One, thank you, thank you. Going on to 9.2.8, January 2026 building permit reports. Do I have a mover? Councillor Pelletier, second. Councillor Boulanger, thank you. How are we looking?
We are looking very good so far. To date, we have 37 37 permits for just over $18 million as compared to last year. For January, we were at 21 for about $7 million. So we've had a very busy and good start to the year. You can see the report in terms of where they are and where they're located throughout the municipality. So yeah, it's a busy year already for our building inspectors.
Good, good. That's. I'd like to hear that. Okay, I will ask council any questions, comments. None. Call for the question. All those in favor, yay.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, none. That's carried. Thank you. That brings us to item number 12, adjournment. Do I have a mover? Councillor Lemoine, second. Councillor Boulanger. Final thoughts. Just a comment. I don't think I opened the meeting. I gave a time because I'm in Alberta. I probably gave the wrong time. So I'm hoping you guys wrote that down.
I did. You actually gave us a time of 6:01, so I wrote 7:01.
Thank you so much. And I will call for the question. All those in favor?
Aye.
Yay. Aye. Oh, there's excitement at the end. I don't know if that's the right message we want to send you in, but thank you. I will close the meeting at 8:39 p.m. Thank you very much and have a great night, everyone.